Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel to learn English. Today we are going to learn a poem in class 8 CBSE Honeydew book, Geography lesson. This poem has been composed by one of the finest poets and novelists of 19th century, Zulfikar Ghosh. We shall soon unfold the theme and summary of the poem named as Lesson of Geography. I mean to say, Geography lesson. My dear friends, learning geography through the poem would be a little difficult, but the poet Zulfikar Ghosh has made it easy through these verses. Before we learn it, I would love to discuss briefly about his renowned poet. My dear friends, Zulfikar Ghosh is a Pakistani American novelist, poet, and essayist who was born on March 13, 1935 at Sialkot, Punjab during British India, and now Sialkot is in Pakistan. Further, his family moved to England. He graduated from Keele University, England in 1959. Ghosh's first novel, The Contradictions, in 1966, explores the differences between Western and Eastern attitudes and ways of life. The Murder of Aziz Khan in 1967, The Beautiful Empire are some of his famous writing. Such a writer's poem has been given in our class 8 Honeydew book as a part of our syllabus. So let us learn and understand the poem Geography lesson. The Geography lesson is the poem written from the perspective of a person who is observing the city from above, seeing it seated in a jet plane. As he ascends the height in the sky, he is able to understand the real meaning of geography. As the plane took off from the ground and went into the sky, it becomes clear that why the city was developed in a certain way. From a certain height, the city started to look smaller in size. A mile long distance was reduced to 6 inches on the scale. But what looked haphazard and without logic on the ground seemed inevitable and necessary when viewed from the sky. When the plane attained 10,000 feet of height, the logic of geography unraveled itself. The speaker is able to comprehend that it is land and water that attracts man or habitation, and therefore many cities developed where the rivers were flowing and the valleys too were populated for similar reasons. As the plane attained another 6 miles, it became amply clear that the earth was round and there was more water than land. However, the logic of geography failed to answer the question. The speaker was unable to understand why people hate and kill each other. Why was there a need to build walls across the cities? Even from that height, the causes behind human hatred remained unclear. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. So, my dear friends, this is what the simple summary and theme of this poem, Geography Lesson by Zulfikar Ghosh. I would like to ask you a question while teaching this poem. Can you imagine what your city would look like if you saw from the 10,000 feet above the ground? Will it be neatly planned and perfect in proportion like a geometric design? Would it strike you as something very different from what it actually is while you are in a thick of it? The same way, here is a poet named Zulfikar Ghosh has a description of a just such a view of the city and some questions that come to his mind. So, my dear children, let us read and understand the poem Geography Lesson. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, there seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. So, here, when the poet himself flew over the city in a jet plane, he found that the city spread in a disorderly manner. He could see why it was so, he did not understand. In the next stanza, when the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The logic of geography that land and water attracted man was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. So, next to it, the poet is saying that from a height of 10,000 feet, he noticed that valleys were populated. It was quite reasonable and understandable that it was the compulsion of geography that people should settle down on a flat land for food or for water. So, third stanza, when the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand that men on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across the cities and to kill. From the height, it was not clear why. So, it was little illogical to understand why the people living on the earth built walls between them, why they hate each other and kill for no reason. Such thing the poet Zulfikar did not understand, since they are living, since the globe is one, since the earth is one. Why do the people living on this earth separate themselves in the name of nation, separate themselves in the name of continent, separate themselves in the name of caste, separate themselves in the name of religion? This illogical matter he did not understand. So, this is what the poem by Zulfikar Ghosh.